guys, the holidays are coming and everyone's excited to be gathered together again amongst family, but let's keep it real. We don't all get along. So we're going to talk about how do you get through the dysfunction of the family, or perhaps you're hanging out with friends and you don't get along with some of the other members who are going to be there. But the truth of the matter is relationships are not always the healthiest and are not always good. And sometimes we have to get through the holidays. And how do we do that? Have you guys ever had a circumstance where you had an awkward relationship or a stressful relationship or a not so great relationship and had to attend the same event, the same gathering? How did you deal with that?
It's been some interesting events of mine that I had to maneuver.
That's a good way to say it.
Yes, and without putting every bit of business on the street, it would be, if we're going to certain family events that my husband attends and certain family events he doesn't attend. Long story. But one of the things that I have found, if there's a family event that I know that's going to be a little bit tricky, I manage my time.
Breath.
I manage my time. I because I value the relationship still, but I understand that I kind of want it to be on my terms. And so these are not the people that I would go and stay with. These are the people that I would go and visit during my time there, but not necessarily go and stay at their home. So if it is that, there's a potential for contention and awkward behaviors, you schedule your time and don't overstay it. That's my plan.
I hear you. So time management is a key tool, shall we say, in managing managing certain would you say contentious relationships?
Contentious, yes. And contentious environment.
Yes. Yes.
I have a question for you then. You said time management. Now, do your husband and you go in separate cars because of time management?
No.
Or do y'all go in the same vehicle?
No, the contention is not the husband and I.
Right.
No, I know. But when y'all go to that certain place, do y'all take separate cars? Because you know how long you can stay and he can still stay longer.
I see your point, Karen. I see you.
No.
Because I'm dealing with that one.
The last event where the last event was a wedding, and we went to the ceremony and I went to the reception. So I dropped him off home and I went to the reception. That was the last contention there. So if it's and I mean, him and I, we knew, we understood there was no way he was gonna go. He was respecting the wedding, so we just did that, and that was that.
I hear that.
I think it's important to set boundaries. Period. So. I've always lived away from my family and things like that. So when someone hasn't seen you in a long time, it's like before saying, "Oh, hello, I missed you," it may be a compliment about, your weight. Why aren't you married yet? What about kids? You might have those types of inquiries when you aren't around all the time.
Invasive questioning.
Right. And so I think it's important to set firm boundaries. Like, listen, I haven't seen you in a really long time, and I'd much rather talk about, you and how you've been opposed to my weight or relationships. And if if it continues, like, hey, if this is what you want to talk about, that's cool, but I'm going to have to exit or I'm going to have to leave if we continue to talk like this, because I'm not comfortable talking like that. So like setting firm boundaries and then actually being okay leaving, or Trista, you go. Sometimes I'm like, who going to be there? Because I ain't coming. Who
all going to be there?
Black folks is quick, who coming? Because depending on who coming depends on if I come. So I want to know to certain events, I said it like this. I said what I said. Who gonna be there? I said what I said. So setting boundaries, and it's okay trying to figure out the invite list. And if a person can't tell you, like, listen, I'm not sure who's going to be there, but I want to come and support you, so I'm going to come. However, if I get uncomfortable and you don't see me after about 2 minutes or 3, whatever, I'm out. So
I like that, Chastity.
Your boundaries and expectations, and asking questions to preserve your own mental health and your sanity.
I am going to have to co-sign that, because I think sometimes, especially as Black women, we tend to trump our peace of mind a lot for other people. We sacrifice ourselves a lot, and it's just kind of become almost instinctual. I think, thankfully we're getting to the point where we are valuing our own mental health and our own, vibes. And sometimes you just don't want certain energy. You just would be better, like Chastity said, staying at home. And I am quick to be like, oh, I'm not coming. And also, not feeling like you're obligated to give a reason. Because I think sometimes
no is a full-fledged sentence.
Right. Because I think sometimes, depending on who the person is in the relationship with the person, if it's a very close family member, for example, a very close friend, you may feel like you're obligated to explain why you're not coming. And sometimes it's okay. I want us to get it to the point where culturally, it's okay to accept somebody's no. Be okay with somebody making certain choices, and also the fact that you may not know everything that's going on in that person in that person's life at that time period, right? So you're just assuming that, of course, it's the holidays, you're going to want to be around family, you're going to want to be, no, I may not want to be around y'all. Okay, I actually may be happier, though this may hurt some folks, I may be happier at home by myself on some occasions. I'm not at home sad or depressed. Like, some people feel like if you're not around a crowd, because the extroverts like to be around crowds and they only assume that happiness comes in a crowd, whereas introverts, or mixed introvert extroverts, we are actually happy not being around us.
No, seriously, I agree with you. Like, when my social, I'm learning that I'm a bit of both, like an ambivert. I think they're called like the both of those. Like, I can be the life of a party, but when my social meter runs out, I can be like, hey, time to go.
Let me tell you, what's that word, Chastity? Ambivert? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would tell you, like, what people don't understand, like, when you have an introvert personality, you are drained by crowds. Like, it is so much energy to be in a crowd and around a crowd of people that you hit a slump. Your energy just completely slumps. And a lot of times extroverts don't really understand that, because they're like, party over here, oh, so-and-so is here. Like, they are energized by crowds, and there's such a lack of understanding of each other, right? Like, extroverts are energized by crowd, introverts, we're wiped out by a crowd. And those of us who are ambiverts may be energetic in certain settings, like familiar settings, familiar crowds, but when it's a mixed setting or people who we don't really know, we're exhausted. We're exhausted. We just want to go home. Let my people home. Let them go home.
I have a question for y'all ladies then. And so y'all learn how to navigate through different crowds and people to go around, family or not. How do you navigate when you're around in-laws, and certain in-laws act just ignorant at times, and you be all like, I didn't had enough of this, but we rode in one car to go to somebody's place.
Uber.
We take an Uber. And before Uber, we took a taxi. And before taxi, either we walked home, we took the bus, or we just did not go.
I'm walking. Start now. Come get me in an hour. I'll still be walking. Like, I'm out.
So here's the thing, like, have you ever noticed, if there is actually some type of issue in a familiar relationship, and you start, that energy can affect everybody else, right? So sometimes it is better for one party not to be there, you know, and though, you know, there are oftentimes people or family or friends who want everybody to get along, like they want this kumbaya. And the reality is it's not kumbaya. So here's the thing. If you are planning an event and you know you're the type of person to plan an event at the end of the year, you want everybody to be there, and you know that there's a relationship that's awkward, don't wait for the party to work on the relationship. Work on that before the party, right? Like, why don't we work on things before the party? Like, we make things kind of go array and, you know, have all these negative energy and not work on relationships continually, so that when it comes to the holidays, you have already worked on whatever the situation is, and there's either some type of agreement, or you've worked out the relationship enough that the two parties are able to be in the same environment at the same time and not affect everybody else's energy. So I think that's one of the things is, if you know that there's a relationship that's kind of off, work in that relationship before the holidays if you know you're trying to plan a holiday. If not, let them be.
Yeah. And I'm quick to say, hey, I'm not in a good place. So instead of me coming and bringing energy down or funking up the mood or something like that, I'm going to just go ahead and uninvite myself. Because I don't want to, you know, I'm so used to being by myself now. I don't, I get around, I'm like, oh, it's an hour in. I don't no longer want to be here. I don't.
Oh, you sound like me. You sound like me.
But, you know, I just make it really, really clear. You know, thank you for inviting me. I had a really good time, but not feeling well. I think it's time for me to go. Or just be, you know, don't broadcast it, you know, take the hostess or the host to the side and let them know that you're going to be vacating. Or I make it clear like, hey, I'm only available to come for 2 hours. And that's my expectation. If you still want me to come, cool, I'm there. But in 2 hours, because that's when my social media runs out now. 2 hours, that's all I got. 1 drink minimum, 2 hours. I got to go home.
She's getting her drink though. She's getting her drink though. But I hear you, Chastity. I like the fact, I like, you know, setting expectations before you even show up to the event, right? So far we have time management. We have being okay with saying no. We have setting expectations, setting boundaries, and working on relationships before the holidays.
Yes.
Yeah. So I totally, I love these tips, you guys. I hope you're working on these tips. And I think also, when you have these, you know, if you have people who have contentious relationships, make the crowd bigger. Don't invite 6 people and there's 2 people who don't really get along, because then you are going to feel that energy. So have either not invite one party or the other, have 2 separate events. That's also for the planners out there, have 2 separate events, 2 intimate events, or have a bigger crowd. Because when it is 6 people and 2 people have an issue, it's very different than if you have 16 people and 2 people will have an issue. Of course, making sure everybody's following COVID regulations. Just got to say that. But you know, like, as planners, because a lot of, you know, we're talking to the people who are the invitees, but sometimes we have to talk to the planners, like, plan accordingly. Don't just let it be like, some people think that, oh, because this party loves me and that party loves me, I am
just trying to get along.
Yes, that they love me enough that they're going to try to get along and make me happy. No, we're not. We want you to be happy, but we're not going to compromise our own happiness to make somebody else happy. That's not really happiness, right? Yeah. And
right.
Do you really want that? Do you really want somebody's someone's mental health and someone's happiness to be compromised so that you can have what you want?
And happiness is your feeling that belongs to you, my dear. So if that's the
talk about happiness
other people.
Right, exactly. Say that one more time,
Chastity. I'm like, if you're depending on someone else to make, like, your happiness belongs to you. Feelings are like I statements. And so if your happiness is dependent on someone else, you're never going to be happy. That starts with self. So I can't, in relationships, be that a friendship, a romantic relationship, or whatever have you, whatever it may be, the other person is a contributor to your happiness. They're not responsible for it. So you got to show up 100% of who you are, as they have to show up. I don't do the 50-50, because that's half of me, half of you making enough. I need to show up 100%. You need to show up 100%. And you got to figure out ways that make you happy outside of other people, including the partner the friend.
I'm about to say, are you a marriage counselor too? Because you said all this stuff, marriage counselor.
I ain't had a date, but I know how to do the work, honey. I'm just saying.
Yes, we need to put a pin in that one. Like that's something that you can take with you through 2022. Okay.
Right. And that's just friendship. That's just relationships, period.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Period.
Yep. Yes. I like that, Chastity. Well, you done.
Yeah.
Well, we can probably even end right there. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm hearing.
She just lit it up. She just lit it up with that statement. Yes, yes. And then also for like people who have these gatherings, we have to fake we're gonna get along to get along, whatever that statement is. Don't just end right there. Don't just end with the event and be like, okay, we made it through. We didn't fight, we didn't argue. That's not good enough. You know, keep working on relationships, keep working on, you know, figuring out healthy relationships. Like you don't necessarily have to be in other people's lives. But you
That's if you value them.
Yeah, if you value them. Do you mind expounding on that, Dr. Job? Do you mind expounding on that?
What you value, you will invest in.
Ooh.
If you do not value the relationship, then walk away. But what you value,
where is that darn mic?
It's like boom, 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 boom.
Thank you very much, Karen. Thank you very much, because I do believe that was a mic drop.
That part.
That is true. That is true. But here's the thing: if someone's presence changes your countenance, what's the word? Countenance. Countenance. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. SAT word. If someone's presence changes your countenance, then that is something not to be ignored. And it may not be working on the relationship. It may be working on yourself, right?
Right.
So figuring out why does this person's presence, I mean, let's face it, family is family, but family's got some deep-rooted issues, right? And we know family has some deep-rooted issues. And not everything can be, you know, fixed in a day or fixed in a year. Sometimes it takes a complete journey of a lifetime to fix some really like serious deep-rooted stuff. But in the meantime, let's not ignore it, because sometimes I think as family, you know, certain families, I'm not saying who, can sometimes sweep things under the rug and expect that life goes on. We're going to sort of live in this fake world together and pretend that everything's good. And sometimes everything is not good, right? And so we have a tendency that as long as you get through the holidays, we're good. We're just going to get through each holidays. And every time the holiday comes around, we just try to get through it again without actually working on the root cause. And I would love for us to actually spend the time, the whole year that we're waiting for the next holiday, spend that time truly working on these deep-rooted issues that have to be resolved. I mean, why would you want to go through a lifetime with unresolved issues? It's just, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it's like it's easy to pretend that things don't exist. Because this is the thing, once you acknowledge that something exists, you got to do something about it. Because if you acknowledge it and still do nothing about it, that just makes you, some people might call you dumb, ignorant, or whatever. But as long as you don't acknowledge a situation, you can have, you know, plausible deniability. Like, I don't know. Right. But you got to once you acknowledge an issue, you have to put technically, or you're supposed to be a better person, to put in the work. But long as you deny that a situation occurs or a situation is happening, you can go on about your life. Like when I let my dog go, I don't want to know anything about him. Because that means I would feel terribly bad if he is gone or deceased. But, you know, it's a dog, whatever. But you get my point.
Yeah.
So just being sure, a lot of people like to deny. But what happens with that is that generational trauma, those generational curses of passing down bad behavior, passing down bad habits of not talking. But you also have to understand what you're modeling for your children, what you're modeling for family members or whatever have you, you're teaching each other that, okay, my feelings aren't enough. I have to be quiet, or if I say something, no one's going to support me. So you're saying a lot by not saying anything, you know? So, and then that takes on a life of its own. And it causes even more trauma throughout your own private life. And then you as an adult trying to figure that out on your own. And without really knowing the deep rooted issues behind it is an issue within itself.
That's so true. That is so true. So true. Yeah. And we definitely, you know, doing that hard work is not the easy way. Like a lot of times it's easier to go through life and not want to do that hard work, right? Because nobody likes pain. People like to be, you know, the holidays sort of this euphoric time period for a lot of people, and they just don't want to feel anything that's painful, which is why, you know, all the things that we know about drug use, alcohol abuse are so much more common during the holidays, because it's linked to people numbing the pain, because it's a reminder of gatherings, it's a reminder of family, it's a reminder of loss for a lot of people. And so, you know, making sure that you do that hard work, seek your mental health therapist, do that hard work before the holiday comes, because it really does impact not just you, but everybody else around you. Yeah. So you were
definitely, I was just going to just add, definitely do it prior to the holiday and do it before. This is going to sound really different, but before the seasons change, like before those winter months come along with the holidays, the time change comes, it gets darker sooner. Do it. Don't work on yourself in the midst of a crisis. Work on yourself prior to, so if a crisis were to arise, you understand how to handle it. You don't know how to handle a crisis when you win it.
Right.
So do the prep work prior to.
Where's that mic again? Karen, you still got it?
I got the mic again.
Listen, I think we have dropped the mic several times tonight. Okay. All these tips, if you have not grabbed some key points on this topic tonight, I need you to start over again. Go back to the beginning, replay this video, because we have dropped several tips tonight. We want you guys to have an amazing holiday season. For me, the holiday goes through to January. January is just the add-on. But so when I say season, I do mean season. So enjoy your holiday season. We're happy to have you follow with us. And tonight we're going to talk about what is our favorite book. That is the question of the day. What is a book that is, it may not be the only favorite, but one of your favorite books, because I know that we have a panel of readers. So one book, either childhood book, adult book that you really enjoy for whatever reason. It may have been a life-changing book, or it may just have been really entertaining or juicy, because we have some folks who like the romance novels. So panelists, let us know where we can find you, and let us know what is a book that you enjoyed reading.
I am at miss.chaz, CHAZ on Instagram. And the book that I love was Octavia Butler's Kindred. It was it was like a little sci-fi kind of thing. Kindred was really good. Then like Eric Jerome Dickey from back in the day. You read all of that, all his books.
Look at Dr. Job. She's trying to remember the last time she read a book, because all she reads is medical stuff.
Right.
Don't be calling me out like that.
Dr. Joe, what was the last time you read a book for leisure?
Physiology of the anatomy of the such and such of the body.
No, for real though. The other day I was reading a book on visceral manipulation, and I was like, yo, this is what my life is right now. I only got through like 5 minutes of it before the kid interrupted me though.
I totally feel you on that. If I don't make myself read something, it ain't never gonna happen.
Well, I can be found on Instagram at tristajob.dpt, but I cannot honestly say, for one, I haven't read a book in too very long. But as an adult, I was having a lot of fun with the young adult series. So I will tell you the Divergent series, the oh gosh, Mockingjay. What's the all the movies
Hunger
came out
Games.
too.
Hunger Games. Yeah.
Hunger Games. I love the whole few of those. But when I think back, maybe even further, it would be any Robert Ludlum mysteries.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I read a lot.
I see you.
Very much anymore.
There's so many
right
good
now,
books
my
out
favorite
there.
book is right now, my favorite book is The Very Hungry Caterpillar, okay?
Oh,
Because he reads it to me.
that says everything. Okay, come on, massage therapist. Where can they find you? What's a book that you
Oh,
enjoy?
I'm looking around like books. So I do read books, but I had to go do a double take and I listened to an Audible.
Okay.
And that book was by Sister Soldier, and it was Life After Dark. If you never read that before, read it. But it sounds really good on Audible because Neil Long reads it and she goes into different characters like I don't know what. I love her reading. So, Sister Soldier after death, Life After Death.
Yeah.
But what two books I am going to start reading is these two books. These are a devotional for women and a devotional to pray over these kids of mine. So you can find me at What a Touch on IG.
Love it. Definitely stay prayed up in these times. I hear you, Karen.
Hey.
And I am Dr. T, the hand behind the handle of A Healthy Bump Club. And I'm going to take it back in the days to my childhood. To Kill a Mockingbird will always be one of my favorite books to read. It is a classic book. Just so much you can talk about with that book. So it probably will always be a favorite book, but so many like relationship books and self-help books and and you know, classic biographical reads like Becoming. It's just so many books out there that are good. So make sure you pick up a book when you are on your vacay. For those of you who actually have vacay for the holidays, pick up a good book, and make sure if you're not picking up a good book, that you're picking up your good iPad and watch the rest of our videos. All right, we love you for watching.
Read a medical book like Dr. Joe and Dr. Moore.
You can find us on Instagram at healthybump.club, or you can see us right here on IG. And as you are wrapping up this video, make sure you check out the next video in the corner, tap on it, and check out some of our other videos. We know you guys are home, so go ahead and binge watch us. Enjoy. Thank you guys for watching. We see you next episode. As always, we are out.